Move my stuff.
What? You still got the goodies?
No. How was your weekend? Trust me, there'll come a time when you want a boring weekend.
What are you doing when you left?
Open lock, yeah.
No,
Yeah, lock. Keep it, Courtney. Don't even get caught.
stop. Or you need to stop. I need to talk. It's the one part that's to me right now.
You would actually, I'm funny. What?
What? I mean, that's true. Yeah. I got one back here. Something wrong about my computer, so I had to use my phone on it. I'm not getting a Wi-Fi. Yeah, on my computer. The Wi-Fi channel. What's wrong with them? Like they didn't have a whole bunch of boxes of Wi-Fi. You know, look. Exactly. What y'all got? Y'all need for AT&T. You know we got Metro. Oh no, man. It doesn't know. So remember my daddy Romeo. We got Metro with the West. Oh, y'all are terrible. I bet because it was cheap. That's why. No, Metro got them planes. Yep. Go, Courtney. Why the lady gonna come? She said, "Girl, why they redhead? That boy like you." Who? You trying to talk to me? I don't talk to you, but the girl you said the redhead was red. I ain't seen him. I don't know people. I don't really see him. I'm gonna have to be somebody else. He going around telling people that we go out. I got a hold of one. He gonna be me.
I need to charge.
I did. She got one. He'll be alright. I don't need my phone. Hey,
Yeah, bro.
what? It's a What's not working? It's not working because
I know.
It still works.
No, I don't Zoom on Fridays. Where is
Yep. She's not here.
I'm sure you want to pay attention to the room.
I know you mad because I ain't need no Wendy's food on Zoom.
Oh, well, no, we got Wendy's.
All that was it, we were going slow.
I don't know what people in this class, or who we finna see on the 19th.
I think I got,
How many students in this class? Your class gonna be full?
No, maybe 4, I think. Yeah. From D-Day. All right, guys, let me show you a couple of things. First off, my lovely students who did log on Friday. You know, Friday's a regular day. Actually, my one student, thank you, Caden Gates, for logging on and actually registering for Delta Math and Edulastic, which is for a grade. That means they actually watched the video and did what I asked them to. Guys, that's like a regular day. I don't know what to tell you. I just got 3 inbox messages. Can I get work to bring my grade up? No, you're not doing what you're supposed to do now. Why would I give you work to bring your grade up? One person Friday logged on, registered for Delta Math and Edulastic. That's it, one. It was an assignment. So I don't know what to tell you. Instructions for Friday. It was a 4-minute video. It took you step by step through how to log on, how to register. It had all the codes. I had an announcement like I post every day. Let me tell you, if you are below a certain point, you will be so, it won't be mathematically possible to pass. Impossible. Like you could make 100 on everything and you won't pass the semester. It won't happen. It's not gonna happen. I have to log on. So, like we had 2 quizzes last week. 2. I sent inbox messages. We went over how you look at your inbox. Some of you, I sent messages to. You should have a little red number by your inbox. You didn't check them. Some of you have never registered for Remind. I can't send you a message on Remind because you never registered. Are you understanding that you're failing? Not with a 60, but like with a 12. That kind of F. Now, if that's cool with you, rock on. Because I'm going to do the same thing next year. Hopefully, we won't have to wear masks, but we're going to do the same thing next year. I posted an announcement this morning. Edulastic does not work from a cell phone, so you have to use a computer. About tomorrow being the ACT day for seniors, all of that. But you need to understand about logging on. Some of us are trying to do athletics. You know, there's this thing called eligibility. You are ineligible with 2 Fs. That's just the LHSAA. Caden Gates is the only one who did what he was supposed to. That's it. One person. One person. I mean, it was Screencast-O-Matic, which I love.
I don't even think I even log on.
Guys, all these parents want to know why their kids are getting marked absent and skipping. It's a regular school day. At 8:30 we start.
They had marked me absent, and I was like there. Like my teacher.
Like if you didn't log on though Friday,
What you mean log on? Like log on to the.
you have to log on for every class. Like for certain teachers have Zoom on Fridays. They check to see if you log on.
It was like a Thursday. They had called and said I was absent, but I was like on the class thing.
Like Miss Provenza, if you're not on her Zoom, she marks you absent or skipping.
You can't
It's a
skipping.
Well, if you showed up for the person's Zoom before her class and you're not in her class's Zoom, that's skipping. It's a regular school day. It's not like the spring. This is real deal school. You can't just be at home and decide, I don't want to do that. I want to watch Maury. You can't do that. It's a regular school day. That's what's happening. And people don't understand that. Kids don't understand that. Your parents think you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're not. So I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be the same thing that papers I hand out next year. So you still, if you get on Canvas, do you have a laptop, Mr. Cross? Do you ever get on it?
I've been there 1 year since.
One? Awesome. Yeah,
I was in my living
I do them every day.
Doing better than me.
I think I'll pass around a grade sheet a little bit just to bring everybody back on track. If you did not register for Delta Math and Edulastic Friday, you need to do that. You will have to go back. Don't ask me to tell you what it is. Now that's on your time, guys, because we got stuff to do today. It's a regular school day. I'm sorry you didn't do what you were supposed to do Friday and Caden did, but that's on you. So, Caden on Canvas, you go to the home page. Guys, I Zoom every single day except Friday. Every day except Friday, for reals. Go right here, Caden, where it says Segment Properties Reference Sheet. That's the paper we're going to be looking at.
All right.
Cato. Okay. Just making sure nobody's in my waiting room. That's just weird they call it that. In the waiting room. Like we're at the doctor's office. What kind of shirt did you have on, Miss Missy? What were you flashing?
My shirt not really bad.
It's really nice.
Cause Miss Knox or whatever her name is, she was like, "What's wrong with the shirt?"
Oh, that's fine.
And Miss Brian kind of like,
Just give her a shirt.
Say it again, say it again. Say it again, say it again.
she need to,
She don't like me either, it's okay.
she need to get her life.
down and see if I have
She
some.
need to get her life. For real.
She likes it.
I got just go. Every day. Do for the shirt and Jay didn't do that. She said the shirt had too much white on it. Not a
Too
big-
much white,
Like, you know, you gotta have, you can't wear all white tee. You gotta
like
have some
that
on.
shirt?
It was,
Wait, some people are
it was
wearing
like
white
a-
right now.
it was a white polo, it was a white polo shirt with white
I don't
right
even think gang members still do that anymore.
No,
That
they
was like from 15 years ago.
That was in the 90s, baby.
It wasn't even here.
$20 for someone.
That was like from the 15 years ago was that they wore white tees. When that song came out about the white tees.
Did you, were you, oh, y'all wasn't. You
There
know,
was a
also,
song about white tees. You love white tees. It was so whack.
so,
Here, then pass that over to homegirl. All right. Right here, properties of equality. Now, some of these, oh, I gotta set the mood with the lights, Caden, hold on. Properties of equality. Addition and subtraction in this left column are the main ones we're gonna be using. So I'm gonna cross out multiplication, division, and distributive. Now, we did use those a lot last week. And guys, I'm gonna be showing you so many examples. I give you hints, all that kind of stuff. We're not really gonna be using those three with the segment proofs. But these guys right here, well, we're gonna be using a lot. Substitution, reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. And I'm gonna show you something very cool I found in the App Store. The App Store. There's an app for that. Now, it says the properties above may only be used with equal signs. Let me highlight that. The properties above may only be used with equal signs. These guys right here. Equal signs. Because there's going to be something a little further down that lets us change the signs from one to the other. And then these below, the following properties of congruence, these below are what we're gonna use with the congruent sign. Can you see that okay, Caden? Am I echoing? Echo, echo.
No, you're not.
Are you there, Caden? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah, I
now?
can hear.
I'm not gonna get to see you tomorrow, Caden. You can come hang out if you want.
I don't think I can.
You wanna come hang out? I know, we can go to the mall.
You buy it.
So these three, don't stress over. I don't even think I've ever seen a segment proof that used multiplication, division, or distributive. Addition, subtraction for sure, and then substitution, reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Guys, if you're trying to bring your grade up, you know how you can do that? Register for Delta Math and Edulastic. You know, do what the module says. OMG. Oop, sorry, Caden, nearly dropped you.
I'll do it later.
Now, reflexive, we said was like looking in a mirror at your reflection. Take a moment. There we go. All right. Not bad. Like the word reflection. Everybody gets this one. Adler, pay attention.
I will pay attention.
He's like, what? Huh? Where? We're passing around the grade sheet. I'll show it to you in a minute, Caden. Reflexive property. Looking in a mirror. You see yourself. For any segment, now before, guys, we were looking at numbers. Now we're looking at segments. A segment, again, is just a piece of a line. It's congruent to itself. Just set it on that disc right there. Now, reflexive, guys, you should be able to find. Oh, here we go. We'll pick on some of y'all. It can have any two letters. Don't just look for AB. You can have any two letters, but it's going to be the same two. We got a lot of K's in here. Any two letters. Oh, you're if. Oh, that's so curt. If. Oh, we got Caden too. Oh my, there's way too many. There'll be four K's. No, because Cameron will be in here. That'll be 5 K's. Tiny. We have a lot of K's in here. But any two letters, it's going to be the same. Now, symmetry. You know, I showed you pictures, guys, and I found an app. It's called Symmetry Facemaker. It's going to take your selfie that you upload, and it's going to put the two right sides together, just like we were looking at the celebrity pictures, and then it'll put the two left sides together to see how you look. And there are some other ones. Face symmetry, nobody's perfect. But just like we were looking at the celebrity pictures, the celebrity faces, where the left side and the right side didn't match up, there are apps that do that. And it would just be fun, you know. Do your mom, do your little brother, that kind of fun stuff. Symmetric property is just the left and the right side switching. That's all that is. We saw some people, when you switch or put two left sides together or two right sides together, you couldn't tell any difference at all. And then some, that was not pretty. That's symmetry. That's the symmetric property. And then transitive is, again, students say, oh, it's that really long one because it has 3 parts to it, 1, 2, 3. And again, guys, they're just being boring with the letters. A lot of students, I think, actually look for these letters. Don't just look for these exact letters. It can be any letters. So I'm going to write the first 2 parts. If AB is congruent to CD and CD is congruent to EF, these 2 cancel out and you put the first with the last, no matter what the letters are. But transitive is the one that has 3 parts to it. But reflexive just has 1 part, symmetric has 2, transitive has 3. Another thing, guys, some of you can do for points, things just pop into my head, I'm a little scattered. If you haven't signed up for Remind, look right there, Remind, that's 25 points. Look.
Yeah, get on
now.
Well, you text me like second hour. I'm like,
Yeah, 4:30 Zoom call starting now.
you're texting me like now, and I'm like, no, you're not in second hour, you're in 5th hour, you goofball. Well, I wish we could, but see, you go through your particular course card on your dashboard, so you can only get in through your particular class. All right, definition of congruence. I want to show you something. Let me see. I've got actual examples here. All right, let me zoom in. Look at these 2 lines, guys. If you look, same 2 letters, GA and GA. Same 2 letters, RP and RP. Students are always like, did you mean to write that? Did you mess up? I say, no, look in between. This has a congruent sign. This has an equal sign. They're not saying the same thing, guys. In geometry, this line means something totally different from this line. This has a congruent sign. This has an equal sign. Remember at the top, we said that some of the things, properties, had to be used with an equal sign. Some had to be used with a congruent sign. Well, if we're going to do that, we have to put it in our proof. So when you see the 2 lines, guys, they're going to be right in a row, one right after the other. Usually at the beginning and again at the end. So usually 2 times in a proof, where the only thing that changes is the sign in the middle. See, all the letters are the same, nothing's changed except this sign in the middle. I wanted to show you an actual example where you would see it. That is going to be definition of congruence. Now let me write down my little hints for you. Only the symbol changes. Only the symbol changes, just like I just showed you on the screen. And a lot of times it's used 2 times. In a proof. Once at the beginning and once at the end. So if you remember, guys, last week, I think every proof we did the whole week long ended in division. Well, if you look, a lot of times these are going to end in definition of congruence. A lot of times this will be the very last thing because you got to change the symbol and then you got to change it back. Segments are congruent if and only if they have the same measure. So if you're looking at two lines thinking I messed up because they look exactly the same, and then you go, no, they're not the same, just that little symbol's different. This is what it's going to be. And you'll see, guys, we're going to be doing a lot of abbreviating. I promise you're not going to have to spell all this out. Oops, I'm going to need this page now. But I wanted to show you actual examples. Definition of a midpoint. We've talked about a midpoint before. It's a point in the middle. It's a point in the middle. That's a pretty simple word. The midpoint of a segment, let me get my highlighter, divides it into two equal parts. Here's an example right here. B is the midpoint of AC. There it is right there. There's an example right there. Well, how am I going to know when to use this? You are going to know the word midpoint will be in the given. So just like last week, I said, if you see parentheses, I want you to put distributive. If you see parentheses, I swear, I promise you're going to use distributive. If you see the word midpoint somewhere, I promise you're going to use definition of a midpoint. A midpoint, again, it's a point right in the middle, and it just cuts a line into a segment into two equal parts. There's going to be a line saying two things are equal. That's how you're going to know to look for it, because it's going to have something about two things being equal. Okay, now this last one, segment addition postulate, we've covered before. We did number problems, we did some algebra problems. Like if this were 10 and this were 2, what would the whole thing be? 10 and 2, what would the whole thing be? Look at my pretty picture. If this were 10 and this were 2, what would the entire thing be? What do you think? 10 here, 2 here. I want the whole thing. You'd add the segments. 10 plus 2 is 12. That's what segment addition postulate is. You add two segments together to make a longer segment. Except now, instead of using numbers, guys, we're going to use letters. Now, when you see it abbreviated, guys, they're probably going to use SAP, S-A-P, for segment addition postulate. But you're going to have to read through that one because it's going to give you two segments side by side added together. Now, if you look on the back, now, Caden, you'll have to click on the next little thing because I put it on a separate page for the examples, segment proofs examples right here. But for them, I just put it on the back. We're going to skip around. And we're gonna do the easiest one first. Now, out of those, I can't count, 12, just one of them is reflexive. Just one of those sad little guys is reflexive. I want you to look through the 12, see if you can find the one gentleman that looks like it's looking in a mirror. We're on the back now, Mr. Ford. For real? Look at for the one that looks like it's looking in a mirror. And Miss Adger is right. Look at number 3. EF congruent to EF. That is the reflexive. You know I'm all about abbreviating property. I don't think so. Something can, and I remember what I said. I said you any 2 letters. Don't get thrown off by the letters. So we used reflexive. Now we're going to look for symmetric. Symmetric is just the letters are flipping sides left and right. Left and right. Symmetric. There's only one symmetric on there. Remember, the left and the right switch for symmetric. Very good, Isaiah. Number 5. AB equals DE, then DE equals AB. That's symmetric. And there is one transitive. There's only one transitive on there. Transitive is that really long one. Let's look at the example again. If AB is congruent to CD and CD is congruent to EF, then AB is congruent. Let me see, I don't have it memorized. Very good, Miss Daniels, 7. That is your transitive property. Very good. So we have used reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. We used all those. Which one do I want to do? Let's do definition of congruence next. Definition of congruence is when everything is the same except one side has the congruent sign on the if, and then the equals are equals to congruence. Just the sign changes. There are 2 of these. 1 and 11. Awesome job. 1 equals congruence. Let me show you how I abbreviate. I put definition, and then I just put the little congruent sign. And then I do the same thing down on 11. You got it. So we got that. Good deal. There are 2, oh, stay still, that are definition of a midpoint. Now, definition of a midpoint is actually going to have the word midpoint in it. So if you read through a line and you see the word midpoint, then it's definition of midpoint. Anybody see a line that has midpoint in it? There's 2. Midpoint, midpoint, midpoint. Midpoint, midpoint. You can do it. Sound it out. Look for a line with the word midpoint in it. 6. If Y is the midpoint, and number 10, P is the midpoint. Start with the ones you know first. I mean, reflexive should be always the first one you look for. That one's easy. So we got definition of a midpoint. We got 5 so far. And we filled in 3, 4, 8, 7 lines. All right. Look at, let me zoom in, number 2. If K is between J and L, it doesn't have to be in the middle, it's just in between there, then JK plus KL equals the whole thing. Now look, it's got a plus sign, so it's got to have some addition going on. What did we talk about with addition? Where 2 parts added together equal the whole thing. Look on the front. 2 parts added together equal the whole thing. Well, there's only 2 kinds of addition. You got regular addition and you got segment addition. See, I got that plus sign right there. So which one do you think it is?
2.
Very good. And this is how, whoa, we abbreviate it, SAP. And I'll show you the difference. That has just 1 plus sign. 2 parts together equal a whole. Let me write that on this side. Then look at number 4. They added the same thing to both sides, kind of like we do. Whoop, got rid of it. When we're solving an algebra equation and we add the same thing on both sides, think about what we were doing last week. We said that was the addition property when we add on the both sides. So guys, when you add the same thing on both sides, like on number 4, that's regular addition. All right, look at number 8. This is kind of the opposite. And it helps, I don't like kind of the way they write them, because when you do a proof, you're going to see them written line by line. There we go. This CD disappeared on both sides. It was being added. How do you get rid of something that's being added? You subtract. All right, let me write this one down. Okay, look at these 3 lines and what they did. This changed to this, which they can do because they're equal. They put one thing in place of something else. Think about what we talked about last week. When you put something in place of something else, like you have your player gets hurt in your game, and you get a sub player, or your teacher's absent today. I know we had some subs today. When you put something in place of something else, they took this RS out, they put WX in its place, that's the substitution property. I don't know who's out, but it's somewhere. All right, then I want you to look at 12. See if you can figure out what number 12 is. Let's see. If CD plus DE equals CE, all of a sudden this guy moved to the other side. It was being added, and the sign changed. Kind of the same thing. Think about how you would move something that's being added. We already used it once. How do you move something that's being added? No, what's the opposite? Subtract. You got it. All right, so what I want you to do, guys, tomorrow it's not a free day. It's a regular day. You're gonna log on. Now we're not having Zoom because I'm gonna be giving the ACT for 5 hours. I know, I'm not looking forward to it. Oh my gosh. I nearly fall asleep because you have to keep the time so you can say, you have 5 minutes remaining. You have, you know, pretty much everybody in this main building is giving the test. And then because of the social distancing, there'll only be like 5 or 6 kids in here. So then they don't show up and it's just an ordeal. It's a pain. Anywho, so you still need to log on just like regular Canvas. Some of you will have a little extra to do because you need to sign up for the quizzes for the Edulastic and the Delta Math. Delta Math and Edulastic. You could go straight to my awesome little YouTube page if you wanted to. It's going to take you like 2 minutes. See, there's my little awesome 4 minutes, 24 seconds for my little video. It shows you step by step, but again, for Edulastic, you will need your computer. For some people, guys, like if you have the class link, sometimes Edulastic will come up, like see mine comes up. I don't know if it will come up for you. If not, just go to edulastic.com. But you get points for that. So I need to bring my grade up. Do your work. Hello. It's the what?
I'm talking to him when you get my nervous. His ponytail.
It's the Crocs for me.
Shorts.
It's the Crocs for me. Anyway, so Caden, I'm not going to see you until Thursday, but I'll see you on Zoom on Wednesday.
All right. I got an
Hi.
announcement for the class. Go ahead, go under the Grad Student Council Instagram, click the link in the bio, get your home t-shirt.
I'm not wearing rubber shoes. Oh my gosh. Never. No. No.
I got 4 seconds.
No, never, ever, ever in my life. We're hair crops. It's never gonna happen. Nothing in this world. Never.